In our previous study, we stood at the summit of Mahakailasha and realized that there is only one reality, Rudra. But what happens when we open our eyes and look back at the world? Does the world vanish? No, it is transformed. Today, we enter the Rudrasya Sarv Atma Bhavam, the realization that the divine self is not just in the silence, but in everything we encounter. To guide us into this mystery, we meet the hero of this chapter, the Sākṣī, the witness. Let us understand who is truly looking through our eyes.
Rudrasya sarvatvamatvam.
Before we examine the technical commentary of Upaniṣad Brahma Yogin, we must pause to understand the hero of this chapter, the Sākṣī or the witness. In our daily lives, we are constantly busy. We are the doer. We work. We talk. We plan. We are also the feeler. We experience happiness, frustration, and desire. But have you ever noticed that there is a part of you that is watching all of this happen? Think of a movie theater. You are not the characters on the screen, nor are you the projector. You are the audience member, sitting in the dark, watching the movie play out. That capacity within you, the silent, steady awareness that watches your thoughts come and go, watches your emotions rise and fall, and watches your body move through the world is the Sākṣī. It is not a thought. It is not an emotion. It is the light of consciousness that makes all your experiences visible to you. Without the witness, your life would be a movie playing in an empty theater. Now we will continue a study of Upaniṣad Brahma Yogin commentary on Śiva-Atharvaśīrṣa. First, the main shloka.
Rudrasya sarvatvamatvam sontarādantaram pravishat disasyantaram sampravishat soham nityanityoham brahma abrahmaham pranchaha pratyanchoham dakshinanchodanchoham adashodvacha dishasyaham vidishchaham puman apuman Striyashaham Savitraham Gayatraham Saraswatyaham Trishupta Jagat Anuštapchaham Chandoham Garyapatyo Dakshinagniravaniyoham Satyoham Gauraham Gauryaham Jeshtoham Shreshtoham Varishtoham Apoham Tejoham Rugyajussamatavangirasoham Aksharamaham Sharamaham Boyoham Gruhyoham Aranyoham Pushkaramaham Pavitramaham Ukram cha Madhyam cha Bahishya Urastashasu dikshvavastitamanavastitam cha jyotirahamaekaha sarve cha mameva.
He entered into the inner of the inner. He entered the inner space of all directions. I am He. I am the eternal and the non-eternal. I am the absolute and the manifested. I am the east and the west. I am the south and the north. I am the male, the neuter, and the female. I am the energy of the sun, the sacred verse, and the goddess of wisdom. I am the poetic meters. I am the three sacred fires. I am the four collections of sacred knowledge. I am the imperishable and the perishable. I am the light, and I am one, and all exist in me alone. Now the commentary of Upaniṣad Brahma Yogin.
Devan pratyeva mukatva soyam Rudraha niravrutaha svena rupena sarvantarat ishvarat antaram swatirita sakshya basaka sakshi bhavam pravishat sarvasya sakshi tatas sarvasmat anyo vilakshanaha iti shrutehe.
Having spoken thus to the gods, Rudra assumed his own essential nature, transcending the entire universe and even the state of lordship, Ishvaratva. He abided in his supreme nature as the absolute witness, the self that illumines and makes possible the very witnessing of all beings. In other words, he is the witness of the entire universe, of Ishvara, and of every experience, while remaining completely distinct from all of them. This truth is affirmed by the Shruti. He is the witness of all. Therefore, he is distinct from and beyond everything. Upaniṣad Brahma Yogin reveals the secret of how God has entered into our innermost part of all these seemingly opposite entities, in the form of Sākṣī, who is superior and illumines the mind and intellect. Mind is dependent on witness for power, not the other way around. But here is the irony. We often treat these teachings as if they are just another subject to be mastered. We get lost in the intellectual jargon, debating concepts, memorizing Sanskrit verses, and building elaborate mental maps of reality. We give so much power to our thoughts and so much importance to our mind that we treat our thoughts as if they are the ultimate truth. We forget that the mind is just a tool. We are so busy analyzing the clutter of the universe, our plans, our anxieties, our philosophical arguments, that we fail to look at the one thing that makes all of this possible. We look at the movie and forget the screen. We look at the shadows and forget the light. We never stop to notice the boss behind the entire clutter of the universe, the Sākṣī, the witness. This knowledge is not just a theory, it is a weapon for your sadhana. When you realize that the witness is the boss behind the clutter, everything changes. In your daily life, when the mind erupts into chaos, when you feel that familiar rush of frustration, anxiety, or intellectual pride, don't fight it. Instead, become the witness. Recognize that you are not the chaos. You are the one giving the mind the power to create that chaos in your consciousness. The moment you withdraw your attention from the movie of your thoughts and place it back on the witness, the mind, deprived of your reactive power, immediately calms down. It stops being your master and becomes what it was always intended to be, a precision tool, a tool to gain vidya, the sacred knowledge that cuts through your pashas, the chains of binding and limitation. In that instant of witnessing, the chain breaks. You are no longer trapped in the mind. You are instantly free.
Antaryanmatmana pracyadi dishashantaram sampravishat yayevam vidaha soham swajnadidrushtimashritya ādāradeyātmana nitya nityarupaha kāranam brahma kāryam abrahma ātmānātma rūpopi ahameva nānya kaśyit mato vyataritaha iti pratigñātattvāt.
I alone, being of this nature, having assumed the entire creation projected through my own power of knowledge and the rest, exist as both the substratum and the dependent, as the controller and the controlled. I alone am the causal Brahman, and I alone appear as the effect, the manifest universe, a Brahman. Even the apparent distinction between the self and the non-self is, in truth, none other than me. This is because the declaration has been made. There is no one whatsoever apart from me. How does this help your sadhana? It changes how you experience reality. Right now, you see an effect, a difficult situation, a painful emotion, or a challenging person, and you react to it as if it is an independent, solid problem. You fight the kriya, but in sadhana, you learn to pause. You learn to look through the effect and track it back to the cause. You ask, who is the ultimate source of this experience? by constantly tracing every event back to the divine source. You stop labeling life as good or bad. You begin to see every moment as a manifestation of the divine. This is not just intellectual understanding. This is a state of perpetual offering. You stop fighting the waves of life and start recognizing that the waves are made of the same water as the ocean. This is the practice of Kārya Kāraṇa Anusandhana, the continuous contemplation that breaks the chain of pashas, bonds, and anchors you in the source. We have traveled a long path today. We moved from the silent witness who stands apart into the vibrant, dancing world of cause and effect. We saw that while the world often feels like a wall that separates us from the divine, it is actually a bridge. Every karya, every event, every emotion, every experience is a footprint of the Karna, the supreme Rudra. But what is the point of all this understanding? What happens when this knowledge settles into our hearts? Not just as a theory, but as our lived reality? In our next and final session of this commentary, we will explore the Rudra Jnana Phalam, the fruit of this knowledge. We will look at what happens when the seeker finally stops searching and starts abiding in the truth that they are not separate from the source. We will conclude our study of the first chapter of the Upaniṣad Brahma Yogin's commentary on the Śiva-Atharvaśīrṣa by seeing how this realization transforms life itself into an offering. Until then, keep practicing the art of witnessing and keep tracing every ripple of the world back to its eternal source.